Welcome to a video that could change the way you see yourself and the world around you. In the next few minutes, we're diving into some of the most powerful psychological truths that shape your life, whether you realize it or not. Have you ever wondered how your thoughts can heal you, or why some people thrive despite failure, while others give up? We'll uncover the secrets behind the placebo effect, the inherited fears you didn't even know you had, and the transformative power of a growth mindset. This isn't just another self-help video. It's a deep dive into how your mind truly works, and how you can harness its power to overcome challenges, achieve personal growth, and create the life you've always wanted. Stay with us until the end, because these lessons could be the key to unlocking your full potential. Don't miss out. Before we start, I'd appreciate your support. If you liked the video, please subscribe and hit the bell to stay updated on future lessons. But that's just the beginning. As we dive deeper, we'll uncover the hidden truths behind our daily interactions and the way our minds interpret them. For instance, did you know that smiling, one of the simplest human expressions, has the power to alter not just how others see you, but how you feel about yourself? A genuine smile can change the chemistry in your brain, releasing hormones that boost your mood and create a sense of connection with those around you. This is the science behind why some people seem effortlessly charismatic. They've tapped into the psychological power of their smile and use it to influence others positively. However, the mind is a complex, paradoxical machine. On one hand, it has the ability to bring us immense joy and fulfillment. On the other hand, it can trap us in loops of anxiety and overthinking. Have you ever found yourself fixated on someone, thinking about them constantly, and wondered why they suddenly seem so distant? This psychological phenomenon is called hyperfocus, and it often backfires. When we overthink and obsess, our brains amplify that focus, and the other person subconsciously picks up on that energy, feeling pressured or overwhelmed. So how do we break free from this cycle? It's all about awareness. By becoming conscious of these psychological triggers, you can start to master your mind, rather than letting it master you. And when you gain this mastery, you open the door to an entirely new world. One where you are in control of your thoughts, emotions, and ultimately, your destiny. As we journey further into this exploration of human psychology, you'll see that everything, from your body language to your thoughts, can either attract success and positivity or repel them. The choice, my friend, is yours. So stay tuned, because what you're about to discover in this video could be the missing piece that helps you unlock the extraordinary life you deserve. How can we use this information to improve our lives? Here are some practical tips. 1. Practice self-acceptance. Instead of obsessing over your flaws, focus on your unique qualities. As Marcus Aurelius would say, accept yourself as you are. 2. Cultivate inner confidence. True confidence comes from within. Work on your skills and knowledge, and you'll see how your security naturally increases. 3. Watch your posture. Keep your head up and shoulders back. Good posture not only makes you look more confident, but also makes you feel more confident. Psychological fact number 1. The transformative power of gratitude. Imagine waking up each morning not with a mind full of worries or thoughts of inadequacy, but with a heart brimming with gratitude for everything you already possess. It's easy to fall into the trap of longing for what we lack, whether it's a better body, more wealth, or deeper relationships. But what if you made a conscious choice to focus instead on what you already have? This simple yet profound shift in perspective can work wonders for your mental and emotional well-being, as it aligns with one of the core teachings of Stoicism, gratitude. Being thankful for the present moment, for the small victories, for the daily comforts you might otherwise overlook. This is the foundation for a life filled with joy and inner peace. We live in a world obsessed with appearance, constantly bombarded by images of unattainable perfection. It's no wonder so many of us spend far too much time critiquing our looks, wishing we were thinner, younger, more attractive. But here's a truth that most of us overlook. Your true value and attractiveness are not solely determined by your physical appearance. As Carl Rogers, a brilliant psychologist, once said, "The curious paradox is that when I accept myself as I am, then I can change." In other words, true transformation, real, lasting change, only begins when we first embrace who we already are. Look in the mirror with compassion. When was the last time you gazed into the mirror and smiled at yourself? Not out of vanity, but out of compassion? We are often our own harshest critics, fixating on perceived flaws that others don't even notice. Studies have shown that most people believe they are less attractive than they really are, underestimating their own beauty by as much as 20%. Imagine that. You are likely far more appealing than you think, not just in appearance, but in your energy, your kindness, and the way you carry yourself. Self-acceptance is the key to true confidence. Real confidence doesn't come from changing your body or acquiring material things. It emerges from a much deeper place, self-acceptance. When you stop trying to mold yourself into someone else's idea of perfection and start appreciating the unique qualities that make you you, you unleash a powerful sense of confidence that no external factor can take away. As Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic philosopher, wisely said, "Accept yourself just as you are." There is profound strength in these words, reminding us that true power lies in embracing our imperfections, rather than fighting against them. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment number 1 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Inner confidence and growth. Building a foundation of strength. Confidence is not something you are born with, nor is it something you can fake for long. It's something you cultivate over time through personal growth. When you invest in expanding your mind, developing your skills, and learning more about the world around you, you naturally build a sense of security within yourself. This inner confidence is far more enduring than any temporary boost you might get from external validation. It radiates from the inside out and draws people toward you not because of what you look like, but because of the energy and self-assuredness you exude. The power of posture. How body language impacts your mind. Never underestimate the role of your body in shaping your mind. Something as simple as standing up straight, holding your head high, and walking with your shoulders back can have a dramatic effect on how you feel about yourself. Research shows that good posture not only improves your physical health, but also boosts your confidence. When you adopt a posture of strength, your mind follows suit, making you feel more self-assured, assertive, and ready to face life's challenges. Gratitude, a catalyst for transformation. And yet, even with all these practices, self-acceptance, confidence, posture, the cornerstone of true transformation lies in the art of gratitude. Gratitude is not just an attitude, it's a way of life. When you focus on what you have instead of what's missing, you shift your entire worldview from scarcity to abundance. And that change in mindset does something extraordinary. It makes you feel richer, more fulfilled, and more capable of facing whatever life throws your way. In Stoicism, gratitude is seen as one of the highest virtues. It grounds you in the present moment and shields you from the toxic habit of comparing yourself to others. By appreciating the small things, your health, your relationships, your skills, you nurture a sense of completeness that no amount of money, beauty, or status can provide. When you stop lamenting what you lack and start being grateful for what you have, you open yourself up to a life of abundance. Your mind becomes fertile ground for positivity, and with that positivity comes a profound sense of inner peace. The ripple effect of gratitude. How it transforms every aspect of life. Gratitude doesn't just affect your mental state. It has a ripple effect that touches every corner of your life. It improves your relationships, because when you're grateful for the people in your life, you treat them with more kindness and appreciation. It enhances your work, because when you're thankful for the opportunities you have, you bring more enthusiasm and dedication to your tasks. And it even impacts your health, as studies have shown that people who practice gratitude regularly experience lower stress levels, better sleep, and a stronger immune system. A life rooted in confidence, gratitude, and self-acceptance. So, the next time you feel yourself getting caught up in the endless chase for more beauty, more success, more recognition, pause. Take a deep breath. Look in the mirror, not with criticism but with love. Stand tall and embrace the person looking back at you, flaws and all. And most importantly, let gratitude flow through you. Be thankful for your strengths, your experiences, and the people who support you. True attractiveness, true confidence, and true happiness come from within. They are built on a foundation of self-acceptance, inner growth, and a heart full of gratitude. When you live from this place, you radiate a kind of beauty that no mirror could ever fully capture. A beauty that is powerful, authentic, and irresistibly magnetic. Smile can brighten your day. Well, get ready, because we're about to discover the hidden power behind this simple yet powerful gesture. Imagine this. You're walking down the street, lost in thought, when suddenly someone smiles at you. What happens? Without realizing it, you smile back. But why does this happen? The answer lies in the fascinating work of Dr. Paul Ekman, a pioneer in the study of facial expressions. Ekman discovered that facial expressions not only communicate emotions, but can also influence our mood. It's as if our brain says, "Hey, we're smiling, so we must be happy." Incredible, right? But don't just take my word for it. Let me suggest a home experiment so you can see the effect of smiling for yourself. It's simple. For the next 5 minutes, smile. It doesn't matter if you feel happy or not. Just keep that smile on your face. Do you notice any change in your mood? Chances are you do. And it's not magic, it's science. When we smile, our brain releases a combination of neurotransmitters like dopamine, endorphins, and serotonin. These natural chemicals make us feel happier and more relaxed. It's like a mini spa for your brain, all thanks to moving a few facial muscles. But it doesn't end there. A smile is also contagious. When you smile at someone, they are likely to smile back. It's like starting a chain reaction of good vibes. Can you imagine how the world would be if we all smiled a little more? Now, let's get something straight. No one is saying you should walk around with a constant smile on your face, like some kind of overly enthusiastic emoji. That's not the point. The idea isn't about pretending or forcing happiness. It's about understanding the subtle but undeniable power that a smile can wield. It's about knowing when and how to use this simple gesture to your advantage in everyday life. Think of it as a secret weapon in your psychological toolkit. Got a big presentation at work? Try smiling before you step up. Need a confidence boost before a nerve-wracking date? Flash a smile at yourself in the mirror. Feeling overwhelmed by the stresses of life? Take a moment to smile, even if it feels a little strange at first. Why? Because smiling triggers changes in your brain chemistry that can genuinely help you feel better, even when you're not in the best mood to start with. The best part? Smiles are free. They don't cost you a thing. You don't need a fancy app, a subscription service, or a prescription from your doctor. This is a 24/7 resource you have at your disposal, ready to use whenever you want. In a world where so many things seem to come with a price tag, it's refreshing to realize that something so powerful is completely within your control and always available. So, the next time you find yourself stuck in a challenging situation, or if you just want to brighten your own day or someone else's, don't underestimate the incredible power of a smile. Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "Happiness depends on ourselves." That might sound like an oversimplification, but when you really think about it, there's profound truth in that statement. Sometimes, happiness begins with the smallest of actions, something as simple as curling your lips into a smile. And speaking of happiness, let's move on to another intriguing psychological fact, one that delves into the complexities of our emotions and relationships. Have you ever noticed how sometimes, when we lose someone in our lives, we end up missing the memory of them more than the person themselves? It's as if our mind plays a carefully edited highlight reel of the best moments from the past, tricking us into yearning for something we may not even truly want. This fascinating psychological phenomenon is one of the reasons we often find it hard to move on from relationships that have ended, even if those relationships weren't as great as we remember them to be. So why does this happen? Why do we sometimes find ourselves romanticizing the past, idealizing people who may have hurt us, or longing for a time that wasn't nearly as perfect as we now imagine it to be? The answer lies in the brain's natural tendency to filter and edit memories, selectively preserving the moments that made us feel good and glossing over the ones that caused us pain or discomfort. In many ways, this is a coping mechanism. The brain, in its infinite wisdom, understands that constantly reliving moments of conflict or heartbreak can be emotionally overwhelming. So instead, it gives us a carefully curated version of the past, one that is easier to handle. Think about it. When you reflect on a past relationship, You probably find yourself remembering the spontaneous adventures, the late-night conversations, or the moments of laughter that once brought you closer together. What you're less likely to remember, at least not as vividly, are the arguments, the misunderstandings, or the gradual erosion of connection that led to the end of that relationship. It's not that those things didn't happen. It's just that your brain isn't as interested in replaying them. It's more focused on preserving the positive memories, even if that comes at the cost of a more accurate and balanced perspective. But here's the thing. While this process can sometimes protect us from emotional pain, it can also trap us in a cycle of longing for something that no longer exists, or perhaps never really existed in the way we remember. Have you ever caught yourself missing an ex-partner or an old friend, only to realize that what you're really missing is the idea of them, not the person they truly were? It's as if our mind is clinging to a version of that person that was idealized, polished, and perfected by the passage of time. We forget why the relationship ended in the first place, and instead, we find ourselves yearning for a romanticized memory. Psychological fact number 2. The seduction of nostalgia and its hidden dangers. Nostalgia has a powerful way of creeping into our lives, often without us even realizing it. It seduces us, offering the comfort of the past when the present feels overwhelming or uncertain. It pulls us into an idealized world where everything seemed better, simpler, and more joyful than the life we are currently living. But the truth is, nostalgia is a master illusionist, a magician of the mind. It shows us only the glittering highlights, the golden moments, while skillfully hiding the shadows, the pain, and the complexities that were just as much a part of the past. Why does nostalgia hold such sway over us? Why do we find ourselves replaying those perfect memories, longing for the days when everything seemed to fall into place? The answer lies in our brain's innate design. Human beings are wired to seek pleasure and avoid pain, and our memories are no exception to this rule. When we think back on happy moments, our brain releases dopamine, a chemical that creates feelings of happiness, satisfaction, and warmth. It's like a reward system built into our neural pathways, encouraging us to relive the good times over and over again. But here's where it gets tricky. While nostalgia makes us feel good, it does so by distorting reality. Think about it. When you look back on an old relationship, a childhood memory, or a period in your life that you once cherished, you're not remembering the full picture. Your brain is selectively filtering out the arguments, the disappointments, and the heartache. It's almost as if your mind is editing a movie, cutting out the scenes that don't fit the narrative you want to believe. Over time, the past becomes a carefully curated story that doesn't reflect the true complexity of what really happened. You remember the laughter but forget the tears. You hold on to the joy but conveniently erase the frustration. This selective memory process is one of the reasons why nostalgia can be so dangerous. It can keep us stuck in a version of the past that was never as perfect as we now imagine. And when we get stuck, we prevent ourselves from moving forward. We become anchored to a memory, a feeling, or a person who no longer exists. It's as if we are living in a time capsule, frozen in a moment that can never be recreated. And in doing so, we close ourselves off to the opportunities, relationships, and experiences that are right in front of us, waiting to be embraced. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment number 2 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Have you ever found yourself reaching out to someone from your past, hoping to recapture the magic you once shared? Maybe you've sent a message to an old friend, reached out to an ex, or visited a place that once meant the world to you, only to realize that it's not the same anymore. This is the deceptive power of nostalgia at work. It tricks you into believing that you can go back, that you can relive those golden moments. But the truth is, the past is gone, and no matter how much you try to recreate it, you can never step into the same river twice. People change, circumstances change, and the version of reality you are holding on to no longer exists. But why do we fall into this trap? Why does the brain cling so tightly to the good memories while letting the bad ones slip away? It's because our brain's primary function is to protect us. By focusing on the positive, it shields us from the pain and discomfort of the past. It's a defense mechanism, a way to help us cope with life's inevitable ups and downs. But in doing so, it also prevents us from seeing the full picture. We forget the reasons why we walked away from that relationship, why we left that job, or why we moved on from a particular phase of our lives. All we're left with is a romanticized version of events that tugs at our heartstrings and keeps us longing for something that no longer exists. Nostalgia is particularly dangerous when it comes to relationships. How many times have you heard someone say, "I miss the way things used to be," or "I wish we could go back to the way it was"? This longing for the past can be a major barrier to moving forward, especially if the relationship wasn't as perfect as you now remember. Maybe there were deep-rooted issues, unresolved conflicts, or emotional wounds that you've conveniently forgotten. But instead of facing those realities, your brain has edited them out, leaving you with a highlight reel of the good times. And as you watch that reel over and over again, you start to doubt your decisions. You wonder if you made the right choice in walking away, or if maybe, just maybe, you could rekindle the magic. Understanding this psychological phenomenon can be incredibly freeing. Once you recognize that your brain is wired to idealize the past, you can take a more balanced approach to your memories. You can acknowledge the good times without letting them distort your perception of the present. You can remember the joy without losing sight of the reasons why you moved on. And most importantly, you can let go of the version of the past that exists only in your mind, freeing yourself to fully embrace the present and the future. So the next time you find yourself missing someone or something from your past, pause. Take a moment to reflect. Ask yourself these important questions. Am I really missing this person? Or am I missing the idea of them? Am I longing for who they were? Or who I wanted them to be? Am I holding on to an idealized version of the past that's keeping me from moving forward? These questions are crucial because they help you separate reality from memory. They help you see the past for what it really was, not what your brain has crafted it to be. Sensory anchors, the unexpected triggers of nostalgia. Another interesting aspect of nostalgia is how easily it can be triggered by our senses. Have you ever heard a song from your youth and felt a wave of emotion wash over you? Suddenly, you're back in that moment, reliving a summer romance, a night out with friends, or a road trip that made you feel alive. This phenomenon is known as emotional anchoring. Certain sounds, smells, or even tastes can anchor us to specific emotional states from our past. A familiar melody can transport you to a time when you were carefree and full of possibility, while the scent of freshly baked cookies might take you back to your grandmother's kitchen, where you felt safe and loved. While these sensory triggers can evoke powerful emotions, they can also contribute to the illusion of nostalgia. They can make the past feel more immediate, more real than it actually is. And while there's nothing wrong with enjoying these memories, it's important to remember that they are just that, memories. They are not a blueprint for the present or the future. The joy you felt back then can be recreated, but not by clinging to the past. It can only be found by embracing the life you have now and opening yourself up to the possibilities that lie ahead. Letting go of the past to embrace the future. Nostalgia can be comforting, but it can also be a heavy burden. It keeps you looking backward when life is moving forward. It anchors you to a time and place that no longer exists, preventing you from fully engaging with the present. The key to breaking free from the seductive grip of nostalgia is to understand its psychological roots. Once you recognize that your brain is wired to idealize the past, you can start to let go of the unrealistic expectations it creates. By appreciating the past for what it was, without letting it distort your reality, you open yourself up to the richness of the present. You free yourself to create new memories, build new relationships, and embrace new opportunities. The past will always be a part of you, but it doesn't have to define you. The future holds just as much potential for joy, love, and growth as the past ever did. If only you are willing to let go of the illusion and step into the present with an open heart and mind. Now, you may be wondering, what does this have to do with valuing memories over real people? Well, it turns out that these emotional anchors can influence our decisions more than we realize. Nostalgia can make us want to reconnect with someone from the past without truly considering why that relationship is no longer in our life. Understanding these psychological mechanisms can be crucial for our emotional well-being. It helps us distinguish between idealized memories and reality, allowing us to make more conscious decisions about our current and future relationships. But beware, we're not saying you should discard all your happy memories. On the contrary, these memories can be a valuable source of learning and personal growth. Psychological fact number 3. The power of balance in nostalgia and reflection. One of the most important psychological facts about memory is the necessity of balance. Our memories are a bit like a mental photo album, beautiful snapshots of moments captured at their brightest. And while it's perfectly natural to cherish these memories, it's crucial not to become trapped in an idealized version of the past that no longer exists. Those perfect moments we cling to, whether they are memories of a childhood home, a relationship, or a special vacation, often feel like treasures we want to revisit. But we must remember that they are just fragments of a much larger, more intricate reality. Have you ever been listening to a song or smelled a familiar scent that instantly transported you back in time? Maybe it was a song that reminds you of a carefree summer, or the scent of fresh flowers that takes you back to a moment of peace. Don't shy away from these moments. Instead, use them as tools to reflect on your personal growth. Ask yourself, what did I learn from that experience? How has that moment helped shape who I am today? Reflecting on the past can be a way to appreciate how far you've come, how much you've learned, and how those moments, no matter how distant, still play a part in who you are. The key is to embrace your memories, but not let them hold you captive. Life is much richer and more complex than any single snapshot frozen in time. By appreciating the good times for what they were while recognizing the nuances and challenges that came with them, you create a healthy balance between honoring the past and living fully in the present. This balance allows you to take those memories and use them as stepping stones for growth, instead of anchors that weigh you down. Now, let's shift gears and dive into a different kind of psychological insight. Have you ever wondered how something as simple as your choice of clothing can influence not only your mind, but also how others perceive you? Get ready, because the world of psychology behind your wardrobe is more fascinating than you might think. Picture this. You wake up in the morning, a fresh new day ahead, and you open your closet to see an array of colors, fabrics, and styles. The choice you make in that moment may seem trivial, but it can have a profound impact on how you feel throughout the day. In a way, your clothes are like a magical potion for your mood, subtly shifting the energy you carry with you. Psychological fact number 4. How the clothes you wear shape your mind and the world around you. We often think of clothing as a purely practical or aesthetic choice, something we select based on the weather, occasion, or personal taste. But what if I told you that the clothes you wear each day have a direct and profound influence on your psychological state and the way others perceive you? In the United States, there's a popular phrase that sums this up perfectly. Dress for success. It's not just a catchy saying. It's grounded in research that reveals just how powerful your wardrobe can be in shaping your mindset, emotions, and interactions with the world. Let's dive deeper into the psychology behind this. Studies have repeatedly shown that the colors and styles we choose to wear can have a direct impact on our mood and self-perception. When someone feels down, they often find themselves instinctively reaching for darker, muted tones, black, gray, navy. These colors seem to mirror the internal heaviness they are feeling. It's as if their clothing becomes a visual expression of their emotional state, reflecting the sadness or melancholy they're carrying inside. The mind and body are so deeply interconnected that something as seemingly simple as the colors you wear can amplify or even prolong a mood. On the other hand, when someone feels full of energy, excitement, or confidence, they're likely to gravitate toward brighter, bolder colors, vivid reds, bright yellows, electric blues. These vibrant shades reflect their positive emotions and project a sense of vitality to the world. Wearing these colors not only enhances how the person feels internally, but also changes how they're perceived by others. It's a psychological phenomenon known as enclothed cognition, which refers to the way clothing influences a person's mental processes and performance. Essentially, the clothes we wear don't just reflect our emotions, they can also alter them. But this psychological effect extends far beyond our personal feelings. How we dress sends subtle but powerful signals to everyone around us. Our clothing becomes a form of silent communication, influencing how others perceive and interact with us. Imagine walking into a room wearing a tailored suit versus walking in with sweatpants and a hoodie. The way people react to you will be completely different, even before you say a word. Your outfit conveys a message about your mood, your personality, and your level of confidence. It sets the tone for how others approach you, whether they see you as approachable, authoritative, or professional. Clothing, in this sense, is a tool for shaping not just our own self-image, but the way the world sees us. Now, let's take this concept even further. Think about how specific clothing choices can impact how you feel about yourself throughout the day. Have you ever noticed how slipping into a well-fitting outfit can instantly boost your mood or give you a surge of confidence? It's no accident. When you dress in a way that aligns with how you want to feel, whether that's powerful, creative, calm, or focused, you're using your wardrobe as a tool to shift your emotional state. This is why the simple act of putting on your favorite outfit can make such a difference in your day. It's not just the fabric or the cut. It's the psychological impact that outfit has on your mindset. Let's talk about color for a moment. Colors are more than just aesthetic choices. They carry emotional weight. For instance, red is often associated with power, passion, and intensity. Wearing red can make you feel more assertive and bold, and it sends a signal to others that you're confident and ready to take on the world. Blue, on the other hand, is a color associated with calm, trust, and stability. When you wear blue, you may feel more grounded and at peace, while others may perceive you as reliable and composed. Yellow, a color linked to happiness and energy, can uplift your mood and bring a sense of optimism, both to you and to those around you. There's also an entire psychology behind how different types of clothing make us feel. Formal clothing, for example, often makes people feel more competent and powerful. Wearing a sharp suit or professional attire can create a mindset of authority and confidence, which is why many people choose formal wear for important meetings, presentations, or interviews. In contrast, casual clothing tends to make people feel more relaxed, approachable, and easygoing. The shift from formal to casual wear can change not just how you perceive yourself, but how others respond to you. But why is this important? Because how we feel in our clothes affects everything we do. Imagine you have a big job interview. You know the stakes are high, and the last thing you want to do is walk into that room feeling uncertain or insecure. Choosing an outfit that makes you feel confident, powerful, and composed can make all the difference in how you perform. Your clothing becomes a tool to influence your internal state, giving you the psychological edge you need to present yourself at your best. This concept is not new. It's something humans have instinctively known for centuries. In fact, there's a reason why certain cultures have specific clothing for rituals, ceremonies, and important occasions. The clothes we wear carry symbolic weight, affecting not just how we feel, but how we approach and engage with the world. Whether it's a wedding gown, a soldier's uniform, or the simple act of putting on a clean shirt, clothing has long been used to shift emotional and psychological states. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment number 3 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Now, you might wonder, why do you always see me dressed in white? It's not just because I like the look. It's a strategic decision rooted in the psychology of color. White is a color that represents light, clarity, and purity. It's a blank canvas free of distractions, symbolizing new beginnings and openness. Wearing white elevates my mood, helping me feel calm and centered, no matter what challenges the day might bring. But white does more than just affect me. It impacts the people around me as well. It communicates peace, openness, and positivity in a world that can often feel chaotic or overwhelming. Dressing in white is my way of projecting calm and fostering positive energy in my surroundings. It's not just fabric. It's a tool for influencing not only my emotional state, but the energy I bring to the world. But this principle isn't exclusive to me. Think of the times when you've put on a favorite outfit and felt an immediate surge of confidence or happiness. The clothes you wear carry an energy that seeps into your thoughts and emotions. They can make you feel more powerful, more peaceful, or more ready to take on whatever the day has in store. And just as importantly, your clothing can shape how others respond to you, influencing everything from your social interactions to your professional opportunities. As you stand in front of your closet each day, consider the choices you're making. You're not just picking out clothes. You're choosing how you want to feel, how you want to be perceived, and how you want to navigate the day. Every piece of clothing is an opportunity to project confidence, embrace positivity, or communicate calm. Your wardrobe becomes a reflection of your inner world and a powerful tool for shaping your external reality. So, the next time you face a big day, whether it's a job interview, a first date, or just an ordinary Tuesday, remember that your clothes are more than just fabric. They're a psychological tool you can use to shift your mindset, boost your mood, and project the best version of yourself. When you harness the power of your wardrobe, you're not just dressing for the day. You're dressing for success, for growth, and for the life you want to create. And always remember, it's not about wearing bright or dark colors all the time. The key is understanding the influence your clothes have on your emotions and using that knowledge to your advantage. Whether you need an energy boost from a bold color or calm assurance from softer tones, your clothing is there to support you in every aspect of life. Choose wisely and watch as your wardrobe helps you become the person you're striving to be. Before we dive into psychological fact number 5, I want to take a brief moment to remind you, if you're enjoying this content, please take a second to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to click the bell icon so you'll be notified whenever I upload new videos. And if you're loving this deep dive into psychology as much as I do, leave a comment below saying, "I love wisdom." Together, we can continue learning and enriching our lives with meaningful insights. Now, let me ask you something personal. Have you ever found yourself constantly thinking about someone, almost as if your mind were a theater, and that person was the star of the show? If so, you're not alone. This experience is surprisingly common, and its roots run deep in human psychology. It's almost as if your brain has put that person on the marquee, and no matter what you do, they keep replaying in the front of your mind. But what does it really mean when you can't seem to stop thinking about someone? Is it just infatuation, or could it be something more? According to renowned psychologist Carl Jung, when someone repeatedly occupies your thoughts, it's often a reflection of something deeper happening in your unconscious mind. In Jungian psychology, people who take up significant mental space may symbolize aspects of yourself that you have not yet fully explored or acknowledged. For example, you may be drawn to certain qualities that person possesses, qualities that resonate with a part of yourself that you admire but have not fully developed. It's almost as if your mind is trying to highlight areas in your own personality or life that need attention or growth. This doesn't mean you're obsessed. Rather, it's a subtle, almost subconscious cue that this person represents something important to your personal development or emotional journey. Jung would suggest that these constant thoughts might also signify something that is unresolved within you. Perhaps this person embodies an ideal you're striving for or represents a dynamic in your life, such as a relationship pattern, a challenge, or a desire that needs further exploration. The key here is that your mind is trying to communicate something through these repeated thoughts, whether that's personal growth, emotional healing, or a message from your unconscious. However, not all persistent thoughts about someone stem from admiration or unresolved desires. Dr. Aaron Beck, the father of cognitive therapy, explains that constantly thinking about someone could also be tied to anxiety or cognitive patterns related to obsessive-compulsive tendencies. Just like a catchy song that gets stuck in your head, the repetitive nature of thoughts about a particular person can sometimes indicate a deeper issue, such as anxiety, fear of abandonment, or overthinking. When these thoughts become intrusive and prevent you from focusing on anything else, it may signal that your mind is trying to process something unresolved in your relationship with that person or within yourself. But here's where it gets fascinating. Harvard University researchers have found that when someone frequently occupies your mind, it may be because your brain is working hard to process important information about that person or your relationship with them. It's almost as if your mind is a detective, sorting through emotional clues and interactions, trying to make sense of your feelings and the significance of this person in your life. The more unresolved or complex the emotions, the more your brain will work to piece together the puzzle, making it difficult to simply let go of these thoughts. What's particularly interesting is how brain chemistry comes into play. Dr. Helen Fisher, a renowned anthropologist who specializes in the science of love, explains that when we're attracted to someone, our brains release dopamine, the neurotransmitter responsible for feelings of pleasure and reward. This love chemical creates a sense of euphoria and excitement whenever we think about or interact with a person. The more time you spend focusing on them, the more your brain gets hooked on this pleasure-reward cycle, making it harder to stop thinking about them. In some ways, it's similar to the effect chocolate or a favorite treat has on our brain. You can't help but want more. In fact, studies have shown that the neural pathways involved in romantic attraction and obsession are similar to those activated in addiction. This is why, when you're deeply infatuated, it can feel like you're addicted to thinking about that person. The surge of dopamine can create a strong, sometimes overwhelming desire to focus on them, making it difficult to divert your attention elsewhere. It's not just emotional, it's chemical. But here's the thing, it's not all about brain chemistry. Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, a psychologist best known for his work on flow, suggests that sometimes repeatedly thinking about someone can be a form of mental engagement, particularly when that person inspires you or motivates you to be better. When we admire someone or feel deeply connected to them, thinking about them can help us channel that admiration into personal growth. This person becomes a focal point for reflection and self-improvement, and in doing so, they help guide us toward becoming the best version of ourselves. So, how should you handle it when you can't seem to get someone out of your mind? First and foremost, don't panic. Your mind might be trying to tell you something important. Instead of viewing these thoughts as an inconvenience, see them as an opportunity for self-reflection. Ask yourself questions like, what does this person represent to me? Do they have qualities I admire and want to cultivate in myself? Do these thoughts highlight something unresolved in my relationship with them or in my own emotional life? If the person represents something positive, such as inspiration or growth, lean into that. Use these thoughts as fuel for your own journey. Reflect on how this person motivates you to become better or to approach life in a new way. But if the thoughts are creating anxiety, frustration, or obsession, it's essential to step back and examine what might be driving them. Sometimes, constant thoughts about someone are a sign that you need closure, healing, or a deeper understanding of your emotions. It's also worth noting that some people take up mental space because we haven't fully processed the role they play in our lives. Maybe you haven't resolved how you feel about them, or maybe you're stuck in a cycle of longing for something you can't have. In these cases, reflecting on your own needs, desires, and boundaries is crucial. It might be time to ask yourself if this person is really worth the mental energy, or if your mind is holding on to something that's no longer serving you. Whatever the reason, the fact that someone occupies your thoughts so frequently means there's something to learn, whether it's an opportunity for growth, a reflection of your own emotional state, or a chance to address unresolved feelings. These constant thoughts are your brain's way of guiding you toward greater clarity and understanding. So, next time you catch yourself thinking about someone nonstop, don't get frustrated. Take it as a sign to pause and reflect. Your mind is trying to work through something important, whether that's your feelings toward the person, an aspect of your own personality, or something missing in your life. Instead of pushing these thoughts away, embrace them as an opportunity to learn more about yourself. By doing so, you'll gain insight into your emotions, your relationships, and ultimately, your path forward. Psychological fact number 6. The hidden perils of a weak character. Picture this. You're sitting in a meeting, and 2 new people walk into the room. The first person has a commanding presence, head held high, shoulders back, radiating confidence and determination. The second person, however, is quiet, reserved, perhaps even a little withdrawn. Instinctively, you might find yourself thinking the first person is the one to watch, the one with the potential to be the biggest threat or the most dangerous if provoked. But what if I told you that it's often the person with the quieter, more reserved demeanor who could be the real danger? It might sound counterintuitive, but psychological research suggests that people with weak character traits can sometimes pose a greater risk than those with strong, assertive personalities. How could this be? The answer lies in predictability, self-control, and the subtle complexities of human behavior. Let's break it down. A person with a strong character usually has a clear sense of purpose, well-defined goals, and firm values that guide their actions. They've built their personality on a foundation of confidence and self-awareness. Because of this, They tend to be predictable. They act in alignment with their principles and pursue their objectives with consistency. Even if their strength and assertiveness may seem intimidating, it's often easier to trust them because you know where they stand. They're not likely to surprise you with unexpected decisions or erratic behavior. Whether you agree with them or not, you can usually anticipate how they'll respond in a given situation. In contrast, a person with a weaker character lacks this inner clarity and sense of direction. They may struggle to set clear goals or make firm decisions, and as a result, they can be far more unpredictable. This unpredictability stems from their lack of self-control, uncertainty, and a tendency to be influenced by external factors. One minute they may seem agreeable, accommodating, and harmless, but in the next, they could act out in ways that are impulsive or irrational, especially when faced with pressure or difficult emotions. Their outward quietness and reserve can conceal a swirling inner storm of indecision, fear, or suppressed emotions, making their actions harder to predict and, at times, more dangerous. Let's dive deeper into why this is the case. Self-control plays a critical role here. A person with a strong character has typically cultivated a high level of self-discipline. They have the ability to regulate their emotions, manage their impulses, and respond to challenges with a level head. Even when situations are stressful or emotionally charged, they can remain composed, making decisions based on their values rather than being driven by fleeting emotions or external pressures. On the other hand, someone with a weak character may not have developed the same level of emotional regulation. Without a strong foundation of self-control, they are more likely to react impulsively when under stress, letting their emotions dictate their actions. This can lead to unpredictable and even destructive behavior. Imagine someone who, instead of calmly addressing a conflict, explodes in anger or, conversely, withdraws completely, leaving important issues unresolved. This lack of consistency can make them difficult to trust, as you never know how they might respond in challenging situations. Take a common saying: beware of the quiet ones. On the surface, the quiet or shy person may seem non-threatening, even mild-mannered, but this outward appearance can sometimes mask a lack of self-assurance or unresolved inner turmoil. People with weak character traits often struggle with insecurity, and their quietness may be a defense mechanism, an attempt to hide their feelings of inadequacy or uncertainty. When these hidden emotions are finally triggered, they can manifest in unexpected and potentially harmful ways. Their behavior can swing from passive to reactive, leaving those around them blindsided. Now, I want to be clear. Being introverted, shy, or quiet does not automatically equate to having a weak character. Many introverted individuals are incredibly strong, grounded, and reliable. The key distinction here is the internal fortitude that defines a person's character, not their outward demeanor. Someone with a strong character, whether introverted or extroverted, possesses a clear sense of self and an ability to act in alignment with their values, regardless of the situation. But when someone lacks that inner strength and self-direction, their behavior can become inconsistent. One of the dangers of weak character is the inability to handle pressure or cope with difficult emotions in a healthy way. Imagine a scenario where a person is faced with a moral dilemma or a high-stakes decision. A strong character would approach the situation with thoughtfulness and resolve, weighing their options carefully and acting in line with their values. A person with a weak character, however, might avoid making a decision altogether, procrastinate until it's too late, or act impulsively out of fear or anxiety. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment number 4 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. This unpredictability is what makes people with weak character potentially more dangerous than their stronger, more assertive counterparts. When you don't know what to expect from someone, especially in stressful situations, you're left vulnerable to their unpredictable actions. They may not have the emotional resilience to handle setbacks, criticism, or conflict, and this lack of stability can lead to behaviors that are harmful, not just to themselves but to those around them. Another aspect of weak character is the tendency to be easily influenced by others. Without a strong sense of self or clear principles, these individuals may be more susceptible to peer pressure, manipulation, or external influences. This means they can be easily swayed to act in ways that don't align with their own best interests, or worse, ways that harm others. Think of someone who can't say no, even when they know deep down that they should. Their inability to stand firm in their decisions can lead to actions that have unintended consequences, making them unreliable and difficult to trust. Contrast this with someone who has a strong character. They know who they are, what they stand for, and they aren't easily influenced by external pressures. This strength makes them more predictable and, in turn, more trustworthy. Even if they are difficult or demanding, you can be fairly certain that their decisions are guided by a clear set of principles. They won't betray you on a whim or act out of fear. So, what should you take away from this? First impressions can be deceiving. It's easy to assume that someone who appears strong and assertive might be more dangerous because they're more obvious, more direct. But often, the real risk comes from those who lack inner strength, those whose quietness or agreeableness masks a deeper uncertainty or lack of self-control. Their unpredictability, not their strength, is what makes them dangerous. The next time you find yourself judging someone based on their outward demeanor, pause and consider their character instead of just their personality. Pay attention to their actions over time, especially in difficult situations. Do they act with consistency and integrity? Or do they waver, unable to make clear decisions? Do they have the emotional resilience to manage stress and conflict? Or do they avoid responsibility, letting others take the fall? Ultimately, the real danger lies in unpredictability. The person who lacks a clear sense of self and is driven by momentary emotions rather than a strong internal compass. These are the individuals who may seem harmless, but could surprise you when it matters most, and not in a good way. So, beware of the quiet ones, yes, but more importantly, beware of the ones who lack conviction. In a world where stability and trust are invaluable, those who can't provide them may be the ones you need to be most cautious of. Psychological fact number 7. The hidden power of words and how they shape our trustworthiness. Imagine this. You're at a gathering with friends or colleagues, and someone starts sharing a story. As you listen, you notice an interesting pattern in how people communicate. Some individuals seem to cut straight to the chase, providing just the essential details with a clear and concise delivery. Others, however, take you on a winding journey, sharing every tiny detail, often leaving you feeling confused or lost in the maze of their narrative. What's fascinating here is that the way we use words is not just a matter of communication style. It actually reveals deeper aspects of our personality, our trustworthiness, and even our emotional well-being. Have you ever stopped to wonder why some people, who speak less but with greater precision, tend to be perceived as more reliable and trustworthy? There's a psychological reason behind this. People who choose their words carefully, avoiding unnecessary embellishments or gossip, often possess a keen understanding of the power of language. They recognize that words hold weight, and they know that once something is said, it can't easily be taken back. These individuals are like vaults of information, locked tight, and carefully guarding whatever secrets or sensitive information they've been entrusted with. They don't spill what doesn't need to be spilled, and because of that, they build trust. Their communication reflects clarity, intentionality, and restraint, qualities that inspire confidence. On the flip side, consider those who tend to overshare. They may not mean any harm, but their habit of talking excessively, giving away too many details, especially details about others, can make them seem less trustworthy. These are the people who might inadvertently betray confidences without realizing it, simply because they haven't mastered the art of holding back. It's not necessarily malicious, but it can be problematic, especially when discretion is needed. This type of overcommunication can signal a lack of self-control or an inability to understand the importance of boundaries, which in turn erodes trust. But there's more to this than just personality traits. What if I told you that our communication style can be influenced by hormones, especially testosterone? Yes, that's right. The way we talk, the way we choose our words, and even the amount we share can be linked to the hormonal balance in our bodies. Testosterone, which we usually associate with things like physical strength, aggression, or masculinity, actually plays a critical role in our emotional and psychological well-being, particularly in men. And when testosterone levels fluctuate, it can significantly impact not only how we feel, but also how we communicate. Let's start with a basic understanding of how testosterone works. In men, testosterone is a key hormone that affects everything from mood to energy levels, and even cognitive functions like focus and clarity of thought. But when testosterone levels drop, which often happens with age or due to stress, it doesn't just affect physical performance. It can lead to emotional changes too. Men with low testosterone may experience feelings of depression, irritability, or anxiety. And these shifts in emotional health can manifest in the way they communicate. Low testosterone can make someone feel less confident in their words, leading to either an increase in verbosity, where they ramble on without direction, or a withdrawal from meaningful conversation altogether. This is where things get even more interesting. Studies have shown that low testosterone levels can also affect how well men manage social interactions. When testosterone dips, men might struggle to maintain the focus and clarity needed for concise, impactful communication. Instead, they may find themselves talking in circles, oversharing, or losing sight of the important points in a conversation. In other words, hormone imbalances can make it harder to control the flow of conversation, which can lead to over-explanation, tangents, and even accidentally revealing information that should have been kept private. So, how do you combat this? The answer might surprise you. One of the best natural ways to boost testosterone and improve both emotional and communicative clarity is through exercise, particularly strength training. Exercises like weightlifting, push-ups, squats, or any kind of resistance training have been shown to increase testosterone levels in men. And here's the key. You don't need a fancy gym or a personal trainer to reap the benefits. These strength exercises can be done at home, with minimal equipment, or even just using your body weight. But what does exercise have to do with communication? It turns out that by increasing testosterone and engaging in physical activity, you're not only building stronger muscles, you're also boosting your mental clarity and emotional resilience. Physical activity stimulates the production of endorphins, the brain's natural mood enhancers, which help regulate stress and improve overall well-being. When you feel physically strong and emotionally balanced, you're much more likely to engage in focused, thoughtful communication. You become better at controlling your words, avoiding unnecessary details, and delivering your message with clarity and precision. Here's another crucial point. This isn't just for men. Women can benefit from strength training as well, though the hormonal effects are different. While women produce far less testosterone than men, exercise still helps balance critical hormones like estrogen and progesterone, which contribute to emotional well-being and mental clarity. For both men and women, the connection between physical health and communication is profound. When you feel good physically, it reflects in how you interact with the world. You become more mindful of what you say and how you say it. Your words carry more weight because they are grounded in a state of emotional and physical well-being. Now, let's bring this back to the issue of trustworthiness. When we feel healthy and balanced, we are better at managing our impulses, including the impulse to overshare. We become more attuned to the needs of the conversation and the people we're speaking with. Instead of dominating a conversation with endless details or gossip, we're able to contribute meaningfully and hold space for others to share as well. In this way, our communication fosters deeper trust because people sense that we are both careful and intentional with our words. So the next time you find yourself in a social setting, whether it's a gathering of friends, a professional meeting, or even just a casual chat, take a moment to reflect on how you're communicating. Are you speaking with precision and clarity? Are you giving away more information than necessary? Or are you careful with the details you choose to share? Your words have the power to shape how others see you, and they play a major role in whether people feel they can trust you. Here's the takeaway. Words are powerful tools, and how you use them can make or break the trust others place in you. If you want to be seen as reliable, trustworthy, and thoughtful, practice being mindful with your words. Speak with purpose, avoid oversharing, and remember that silence often speaks louder than 1,000 unnecessary details. And if you ever feel like you're losing control of your communication or struggling with emotional clarity, consider how physical activity, especially strength training, can help. Not only will it improve your physical health, but it will also enhance your mental and emotional well-being, making you a more effective and trustworthy communicator. So, the next time you're in a conversation, ask yourself, am I speaking with intention? Am I using my words wisely? And if you feel like your well-being could use a boost, you already know what to do. Get moving, get stronger, and let that strength carry over into the way you engage with the world around you. Because in the end, it's not just about what you say, but how you say it, and how well you take care of the body and mind behind those words. Psychological fact number 8, the hidden power of fiction and how it shapes your reality. Picture this. You're sitting comfortably in your living room, watching a horror movie late at night. The room is dark, and the eerie music builds as the tension on the screen grows. Suddenly, your heart starts pounding, your muscles tense, and a shiver runs down your spine. You're sweating slightly, and for a moment, your body is on high alert, ready to run or fight, as if you were the one being chased by the villain. But here's the thing, you know it's just a movie. So why is your body reacting as if you're in real danger? The answer lies in the fascinating way our brains process information. When we engage with media, whether it's a movie, TV show, or video game, our brain doesn't fully differentiate between fiction and reality. It processes the emotional experiences on screen as if they were happening to us in real life. In other words, your brain is tricked into believing that what's happening in the movie is happening to you. That's why you feel fear when the monster appears, sadness when a character dies, or joy when the protagonist wins. This phenomenon isn't just a psychological curiosity. It has profound implications for how we experience emotions and how our brain reacts to the stories we consume. It explains why we can feel deeply connected to fictional characters, get emotionally invested in reality TV shows, or cry during a moving scene in a drama. Your brain is empathizing with the characters, their struggles, and their victories. The mirror neurons in your brain, the cells responsible for empathy, activate and make you feel as though you are experiencing the same emotions the characters are going through. What's even more interesting is that this effect isn't limited to just the few moments you spend watching a movie or reading a book. The emotions you feel during these experiences, whether it's fear, sadness, joy, or excitement, have a lasting impact on your mood and emotional state long after the movie is over. Your brain registers these emotions, stores them, and they become part of your emotional reality, influencing how you feel throughout the day. Let's break this down even further. Every time you engage with emotionally charged content, whether it's a horror movie, an intense drama, or a heartwarming romantic comedy, your brain releases a cocktail of neurotransmitters that shape your emotional experience. For example, when you watch a thriller, your brain floods your body with adrenaline and cortisol, stress hormones that make you feel alert, anxious, and on edge. On the other hand, if you're watching a lighthearted comedy, your brain releases dopamine and serotonin, the feel-good chemicals that make you laugh and feel relaxed. In both cases, your emotional and physical response is real, even though the experience is fictional. This blending of fiction and reality has profound implications for your everyday life. When your brain can't fully distinguish between what's real and what's not, the emotions you experience while consuming content directly influence your emotional well-being and even your personal vibration, the energy you project into the world. It's as if every story, every scene, every piece of media you consume plants a seed in your mind, influencing how you feel, think, and act throughout the day. Now, let's take this one step further. If you spend a lot of time consuming content that triggers negative emotions, fear, anger, sadness, or frustration, you're aligning yourself with those emotions. Whether you realize it or not, you're internalizing those emotional experiences, and they begin to color your perspective on life. For example, if you binge watch shows that are full of conflict, violence, or negativity, your brain stays in a heightened state of stress. Over time, this can affect your mood, your relationships, and even your health. You might find yourself feeling more anxious, irritable, or emotionally drained, even when you're not watching anything. This cycle of emotional consumption and emotional response can create a loop. The more negative content you consume, the more negative your emotional state becomes, which in turn affects the way you interact with the world around you. It's like a feedback loop, where your brain is constantly reinforcing the emotions it has absorbed from the media you've consumed. And here's the critical part. Because your brain doesn't fully differentiate between real and fictional experiences, it processes all of these emotions as if they're happening in your real life. This means that the stories you consume are actively shaping your reality. But don't worry, there's a flip side to this. Just as consuming negative content can lead to a cycle of stress and negativity, positive content can uplift you, inspire you, and improve your emotional well-being. When you watch a movie that makes you laugh, a documentary that fills you with hope, or a show that inspires you to be better, you're nourishing your mind with positive emotions. These positive experiences release endorphins and oxytocin, hormones that create feelings of happiness, connection, and peace. It's like planting seeds of positivity in your mind, which grow and flourish, influencing your mood and outlook on life. Here's where it gets even more interesting. This choice of content doesn't just affect how you feel in the moment. It influences the energy you put out into the world. When you fill your mind with uplifting, inspiring, and positive stories, you raise your personal vibration. This makes you more likely to attract similar positive experiences in your real life. It's the same principle that governs the law of attraction, the idea that the energy you project attracts similar energy back to you. So, if you're constantly surrounding yourself with content that makes you feel good, empowered, and optimistic, you're more likely to experience those feelings in your day-to-day life. Now, let's be clear. We're not saying you should avoid all content that isn't full of sunshine and rainbows. Life is complex, and there's value in stories that challenge us, make us think, or expose us to difficult emotions. The key here is balance and awareness. The content you consume should be a reflection of what nourishes your mind and soul. Ask yourself, how do I feel after watching this movie, show, or documentary? Does it energize me or drain me? Does it make me feel hopeful or anxious? Being mindful of how content affects you is the first step in curating a healthier emotional life. If you notice that certain types of content leave you feeling exhausted, anxious, or emotionally depleted, it might be worth taking a break from that kind of media. On the other hand, if you find content that fills you with joy, laughter, or inspiration, make a conscious effort to incorporate more of it into your life. By doing so, you're taking control of your emotional environment and ensuring that what you consume is helping you thrive, not pulling you down. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment number 5 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Think of it this way. Just like we are mindful of the food we eat to take care of our physical health, we need to be mindful of the mental and emotional diet we're feeding our brains. The media we consume is absorbed into our consciousness, affecting our thoughts, emotions, and even our beliefs about the world. And just like a balanced diet is key to physical health, a balanced emotional diet is crucial for mental and emotional well-being. So, the next time you sit down in front of a screen, think of it as more than just entertainment. Consider it an opportunity to nourish your mind and shape your emotional state. Be intentional about what you choose to watch, read, or listen to, and make sure it aligns with how you want to feel. After all, your brain is absorbing all of it as if it's real, and your emotional well-being deserves the best. In summary, the content you consume is far more than entertainment. It's a powerful force that shapes your emotions, your energy, and ultimately your life. By being selective and mindful of what you watch, you can ensure that the stories you consume are lifting you up, inspiring you, and helping you create the reality you want to live in. So, the next time you turn on the TV or open a book, remember, you're not just consuming a story. You're shaping your mind and your life. Choose wisely. Psychological fact number 9. The profound emotional connection between humans and their pets. Have you ever felt that your dog or cat seems to understand you better than some of the humans in your life? It's not just your imagination. There's a powerful psychological and emotional bond that exists between humans and their pets. This connection often runs so deep that, in some cases, it can rival the bond between a parent and child. It may seem extraordinary, but science has uncovered fascinating truths about why we form such intense relationships with our pets. When we interact with our pets, whether it's stroking their fur, talking to them, or simply being in their presence, our brains release oxytocin, a hormone often called the love hormone or bonding hormone. This is the same hormone that surges through our bodies when we hug a loved one or hold a baby. It creates a sense of closeness, security, and love. The release of oxytocin during interactions with our pets strengthens our emotional connection to them in ways that transcend species. This is why pets feel more like family members than just animals living in our homes. The depth of this bond is especially clear when we experience the loss of a pet. Recent studies have shown that the grief from losing a pet can be as profound, if not more profound, than the grief we feel when we lose a human family member. The pain is so intense because, for many of us, our pets are our confidants, our comforters, and our companions through life's ups and downs. They offer unconditional love, without judgment or expectations. This creates an emotional relationship that feels safe and pure. When we lose a pet, we aren't just losing an animal, we're losing a source of emotional stability, companionship, and love. The oxytocin-fueled bond that we form with our pets runs so deep that the absence of it can feel like a piece of our heart is missing. This explains why many people experience profound grief, often rivaling or even surpassing the grief they feel when losing a close human companion. Pets also offer us something unique: empathy without words. They seem to know when we're feeling sad or stressed, and they instinctively comfort us. While a friend or family member might offer advice or try to solve our problems, pets simply offer their presence, and that can sometimes be more healing than words. This silent emotional exchange creates a level of trust and connection that can be hard to replicate in human relationships. But the psychological facts don't stop there. Let's now dive into psychological fact number 10, where we'll explore how our thoughts, like a powerful magnet, can shape the reality we live in through the principles of the law of attraction. Psychological fact number 10, the law of attraction and the power of your thoughts. Have you ever noticed how sometimes one bad thing seems to lead to another? You wake up late, spill your coffee, get stuck in traffic, and before you know it, the entire day feels like one long chain of disasters. On the other hand, there are days when everything seems to flow smoothly, as if the universe is on your side. These experiences are not random. They're reflections of a deeper psychological principle, the law of attraction. The law of attraction is based on a simple yet powerful idea. Your thoughts have the power to shape your reality. Imagine your mind as a giant magnet. With every thought you have sending out a signal to the universe, attracting experiences that align with that signal. It might sound mystical, but there's a strong psychological foundation behind it. Your thoughts influence your emotions, your actions, and ultimately, the outcomes you experience in your life. Let's start with an example. Think back to the last time you had a really bad day. Did you notice how one negative event seemed to set off a cascade of other negative events? That's because when you focus on negativity, your brain becomes wired to see more negativity. It's like your mind gets stuck in a loop, fixating on the bad things, which in turn causes you to interpret everything else through that negative filter. The law of attraction isn't some magical force. It's simply how our mindset shapes the way we perceive and interact with the world around us. The good news: the law of attraction works in both directions. Just as negative thoughts can attract more negativity, positive thoughts can bring more positivity into your life. The key lies in shifting your focus and becoming aware of the energy you are putting out into the world. This doesn't mean you can simply think happy thoughts and expect your life to magically transform overnight. The real power of the law of attraction lies in the combination of thought, focus, and action. Positive thinking is just the beginning. You need to align your actions and intentions with those positive thoughts to truly manifest change in your life. What many people don't realize is that your brain doesn't distinguish between fantasy and reality. That's why your thoughts are so important. Whether you're thinking about past experiences or imagining future ones, your brain reacts as if they are happening right now. This is why it's crucial to be selective about the content you consume, the movies you watch, the books you read, the conversations you engage in. Think of it like a mental diet. Just as you wouldn't fill your body with junk food every day, you shouldn't overload your mind with negative, stressful, or toxic content. Let's try a simple experiment. For 1 week, pay close attention to the thoughts you have and the content you're consuming, whether it's social media, TV shows, music, or the news. At the end of each day, write down how these thoughts or pieces of content made you feel. Did they uplift you, inspire you, or make you feel drained and anxious? Over time, you'll start to see patterns emerge. and you'll become more aware of how the things you engage with shape your emotional state and the experiences you attract. Allow me to share a personal example of how I used the law of attraction in my own life. A few years ago, I made a conscious decision to focus on improving the content I was creating. I set a clear goal. I wanted to create content that would inspire, motivate, and connect with people on a deeper level. But I didn't stop there. I wrote down my goals on a vision board, and every day, I took a few moments to reflect on them. I focused on the feelings of success and fulfillment that would come from achieving those goals, and slowly but surely, the ideas started to flow. Opportunities and connections related to my goals began appearing seemingly out of nowhere. It wasn't magic. It was the power of focus, intention, and action working together. The law of attraction helped me align my thoughts and actions, and the universe responded. But here's the important part. It's not just about hustling all the time. In fact, constantly pushing yourself without giving your mind and body time to rest can actually hinder your progress. Excessive stress can shut down your brain's ability to think clearly, solve problems, and make decisions. That's why it's essential to create moments of calm in your daily routine. Whether through meditation, deep breathing, reading, or simply taking a quiet walk, these moments of stillness allow your mind to refresh and reset, making you more effective in everything you do. Think of it as creating a balance between action and stillness. Yes, you need to work towards your goals, but you also need to take care of your mind. When your brain is overstressed, it becomes foggy and inefficient. But when you give yourself space to reflect and recharge, you gain clarity, creativity, and the ability to attract the right opportunities into your life. So how can you apply this in your own life? Start by getting clear on what you want. Write it down, visualize it, and focus on the emotions you would feel once you achieve it. But also remember to give yourself moments of rest. This balance will allow you to not only attract what you want, but also recognize and embrace those opportunities when they come. In summary, your thoughts have incredible power. They shape the way you feel, the way you act, and ultimately, the way you experience the world. By being mindful of the content you consume and the thoughts you allow into your mind, you can harness the law of attraction to create the life you desire. Focus on what you want, take inspired action, and make sure to rest along the way. After all, your mind is a powerful tool, and when you use it wisely, there's no limit to what you can achieve. Psychological fact number 11. The surprising truth about inherited phobias. Get ready to dive into an incredible and somewhat mind-bending psychological fact. Did you know that phobias can be passed down through your DNA? That's right. Some of your deepest fears might not even be your own, but could instead be an unwanted inheritance from your ancestors. This concept, explored through the lens of bioneuroemotion and epigenetics, suggests that certain fears and anxieties can be transmitted across generations, affecting descendants up to the 4th generation. So, what does this mean in practical terms? Imagine for a moment that your intense fear of heights isn't just the result of a bad experience you had as a child, but the echo of a traumatic event that your great-grandfather may have endured. Perhaps he suffered a dangerous fall, and that fear imprinted itself so deeply in his genes that it has rippled through time to affect you today. The idea that we can inherit more than just our physical traits, like hair color or eye shape, but also emotional and psychological patterns, including phobias, opens up a whole new understanding of how connected we are to our past. This concept isn't just theoretical. It's backed by some fascinating science. You might be familiar with the work of Ivan Pavlov, the psychologist famous for his experiments on conditioned responses in dogs. Pavlov's groundbreaking work showed that behaviors can be conditioned through repetition, like how his dogs learned to salivate at the sound of a bell because they associated it with food. But what's even more intriguing is that Pavlov and later researchers found evidence that these conditioned responses could be passed down to the descendants of his animal subjects. This suggests that learned fears or phobias, under certain conditions, may be encoded in our DNA and inherited by future generations. But how does this work on a biological level? The field of epigenetics provides some answers. Epigenetics is the study of how behaviors and environmental factors can alter the way genes are expressed without actually changing the underlying DNA sequence. It's like having a switchboard that can turn certain genes on or off depending on external factors like stress, trauma, or even a phobia. For instance, if a traumatic event creates a strong enough emotional impact on a person, it can trigger a change in the way certain genes are expressed. These changes can then be passed down to the next generation, creating a genetic echo of that original trauma or fear. In simpler terms, the fears of your ancestors, whether they stem from war, accidents, or dangerous situations, may have been encoded into their DNA in a way that influenced the behavior and emotional responses of their children, grandchildren, and even great-grandchildren. So, your fear of spiders or fear of flying might not be something you developed solely through your own life experiences. It could be an emotional inheritance. But before you start feeling like you're trapped by the fears of the past, there's some empowering news. Even though our fears may have deep roots, passed down from generation to generation, we are not doomed to live under their shadow. The beauty of the human mind is its resilience and its capacity for growth. While some phobias may be inherited, we also have the ability to face, understand, and overcome them. The process of overcoming inherited fears starts with awareness, understanding that your fear might not solely belong to you. Recognizing that it could be the echo of a past trauma can provide a sense of relief. It allows you to approach your fear with compassion rather than judgment. The next step is to work through these fears, often with the help of therapeutic techniques such as cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, exposure therapy, or mindfulness practices that allow you to gradually confront and release the hold these inherited fears have on your life. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment number 6 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. What's important to realize is that humans are complex and multifaceted beings. We carry the genetic, emotional, and psychological baggage of our ancestors, but we are not simply passive recipients of this legacy. We are also capable of healing and rewriting our own stories. The knowledge that fears can be passed down through generations doesn't need to feel limiting. It can actually be liberating. Why? Because it shows that we are part of a long, interconnected human story. But at the same time, we have the power to shape the next chapter of that story. This realization connects deeply with another concept in psychology: neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to change and rewire itself based on new experiences. Even if you've inherited a phobia from generations past, your brain has the capacity to create new neural pathways that can override those inherited fears. Through intentional effort and practice, you can rewire your brain, weaken the old patterns of fear, and replace them with new, empowering ones. Just because something has been passed down to you doesn't mean it's permanent. You have the power to break the chain. Now, what can we learn from all of this? First, it reminds us that we are more connected to our ancestors than we might realize. Their experiences, struggles, and traumas are etched into our genetic code, influencing how we respond to the world. This knowledge invites us to honor the past while recognizing that we are not bound by it. We have the ability to understand these inherited connections, learn from them, and use that understanding for personal growth. Second, this awareness helps us understand that our bonds go beyond just human relationships. We are capable of forming deep emotional connections with our pets, of integrating technology into our perception of reality, and even of carrying the fears and emotional imprints of generations that came before us. We are complex, adaptive beings who are shaped by biology, psychology, and environment. Yet we are also resilient. We have the power to heal, to grow, and to transcend the challenges that have been passed down to us. In the end, knowing that phobias and emotional responses can be inherited through DNA should give us insight, not fear. It highlights the extraordinary complexity of the human mind and body, how we are both shaped by our past and capable of overcoming it. It shows us that while we may carry the weight of generations before us, we are also trailblazers for future generations. What we heal in ourselves can potentially be released from the generations to come, creating a legacy of strength, resilience, and emotional freedom. So, if you've ever felt like your fears run deeper than you can explain, know that there's a reason for it, but also know that you have the power to confront, understand, and overcome those fears. After all, we may be the products of our history, but we are also the authors of our future. Psychological fact number 12. The power of the placebo effect. Your mind as the ultimate healer. Imagine this. I hand you a small pill and confidently tell you that it will cure all your aches and pains. You take it, and before long, you feel relief sweeping over your body. But here's the twist. It wasn't medicine at all, just an ordinary mint candy. What happened? Welcome to the placebo effect, one of the most mind-boggling and powerful phenomena in the world of psychology and medicine. It's a process so potent that it has left doctors, researchers, and scientists scratching their heads for decades. The placebo effect isn't just about tricking yourself into feeling better. It's much more complex and fascinating than mere self-deception. It reveals the remarkable power of the human brain to influence physical and emotional well-being. Your brain, in essence, becomes a magician, conjuring up real physiological changes based purely on belief. And these changes aren't just imaginary. They're measurable and observable. The neuroscientist Fabrizio Benedetti, often called the king of the placebo, has spent his career unraveling the mysteries behind this effect. According to his groundbreaking research, when we truly believe that something will heal us, whether it's a sugar pill, a fake treatment, or even just positive expectations, our brain releases chemicals that relieve pain, ease symptoms, or elevate our mood. It's as if we have an internal pharmacy, activated purely by our belief that something will help. Endorphins, dopamine, and other neurotransmitters flood our system, producing the very effects we hope for. But here's where it gets even more mind-blowing. The placebo effect works even when we know it's a placebo. That's right. Our brain can knowingly go along with the trick and still deliver results. In a Harvard University study, patients with irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, experienced significant improvements, despite being fully aware that they were taking placebos. It's as if the brain says, okay, I know this is just a fake treatment, but I'll still produce the desired outcome. Think about how remarkable that is. Your brain has the ability to say, I know this isn't real medicine, but I'll play along anyway and make it work. It suggests that our beliefs and expectations have the power to alter our reality in profound ways. This finding not only highlights the strength of the placebo effect, but also suggests that positive thinking and expectations alone can trigger real biological processes that improve our health. But while the placebo effect is all about the healing power of belief, it has a dark counterpart that is equally powerful and even more alarming: the nocebo effect. If the placebo effect is the brain's way of making us feel better through positive expectation, the nocebo effect is the dark side of belief, where our negative thoughts and fears can produce real, harmful effects on our body and mind. The nocebo effect is like the psychological version of self-sabotage. When you believe that something will harm you, your brain can create actual physical symptoms of discomfort, even if the substance or situation is completely harmless. For instance, if you're told that a harmless sugar pill might cause headaches or nausea, you may start to experience those very symptoms simply because your mind has convinced your body that it's under threat. Just as the placebo effect can alleviate pain or heal ailments through the power of belief, the nocebo effect can make us feel sick, anxious, or fearful, all based on negative expectations. Imagine the power in this realization. Your brain is the ultimate decider. It can be your greatest ally or your worst enemy, depending on the thoughts you allow to take hold. In many ways, our mind is a double-edged sword. It can heal us, calm us, and boost our well-being through positive beliefs, or it can create suffering, discomfort, and illness through negative thinking. This is why being aware of the thoughts we allow into our minds is so crucial. So, what can we take away from all this? The first lesson is the undeniable power of belief. Our thoughts, whether optimistic or fearful, can literally shape our physical reality. This is why fostering a positive mindset and maintaining a healthy relationship with our thoughts is essential, not just for emotional well-being but for our physical health too. The placebo effect shows us that our mind has the capacity to heal, to soothe, and to improve our condition simply through the act of believing that it can. The second lesson is to be mindful of the nocebo effect. It reminds us of the importance of guarding our thoughts and beliefs, especially when we're anxious or afraid. Negative thinking can have very real consequences on our health. just as much as positive thinking can. We can inadvertently make ourselves sick or stressed out by dwelling on worst-case scenarios, expecting negative outcomes, or focusing on our fears. But here's something empowering. Once we understand that our thoughts have such a significant impact on our reality, we can start to take control. We can choose to nurture thoughts that uplift us, seek out beliefs that serve us, and surround ourselves with experiences that promote healing and well-being. Our brains are incredible, but they need the right fuel. And that fuel is positive expectations, hope, and faith in our body's ability to heal itself. Now, let's bring this back to something practical you can try today. The next time you have a headache or feel some discomfort, instead of rushing to the pharmacy or popping a painkiller, try drinking a glass of water with the belief that it will relieve your pain. Convince yourself that this simple act will help you feel better. Who knows? You might discover that your brain's internal pharmacy is more powerful than you ever imagined. Worst case, you end up a little better hydrated, no harm done. And if you want to take this experiment a step further, pay close attention to your thoughts the next time you feel under the weather. Notice how much of your discomfort might be amplified by worry, stress, or negative expectations. Try consciously shifting your mindset. Tell yourself that your body is capable of healing, that you will feel better soon, and that you're in control of your well-being. You may be surprised by how quickly your brain responds to these positive cues. In the end, the placebo effect teaches us that the power of the mind is limitless. Whether you're using it to heal, to soothe, or to navigate life's challenges, your thoughts can have a profound influence on your health and happiness. And remember, the next time you face a challenge, whether physical or emotional, your brain is ready and waiting to help you overcome it. All you need to do is believe in its power. So, give your brain that positive push and let it work its magic. You might just discover that you've had the cure within you all along. Psychological fact number 13. The transformative power of a growth mindset. This final psychological fact is, in my opinion, the most important of them all. The power to completely change our lives. And no, I'm not exaggerating. Imagine your mind as a garden. In one garden, the plants grow strong and adaptable, thriving in any climate, no matter how challenging the conditions. In the other garden, the plants remain stagnant, never changing or growing, no matter how much care they receive. Which garden would you rather cultivate? The good news is that you can choose which kind of garden your mind becomes. This concept, often referred to as the growth mindset, was pioneered by psychologist Carol Dweck from Stanford University. She spent decades studying why some people thrive when faced with challenges, while others shrink away or remain stuck. Her research revealed that people tend to fall into one of two categories: those with a fixed mindset and those with a growth mindset. Let's start with the fixed mindset. People with this mindset believe that their abilities are innate, meaning they're born with certain talents or limits, and those qualities cannot be changed. When faced with failure or setbacks, they think, "I'm just not good at this," and often give up or avoid similar challenges in the future. They see mistakes as evidence of their inadequacy, not as stepping stones for growth. Now, contrast that with people who have a growth mindset. These individuals view challenges as opportunities to learn and improve. They understand that failure isn't a dead end, but rather a stepping stone on the path to success. Instead of saying, "I'm not good at this," they say, "I'm not good at this yet, but I can get better." Their entire worldview is one of continuous improvement, and they believe that their abilities can be developed with time, effort, and perseverance. What's fascinating is that many of the world's most successful people have adopted this growth mindset, and it's played a crucial role in their achievements. Take Michael Jordan, for example. Widely regarded as one of the greatest basketball players of all time, Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. Most people would have taken that rejection as proof that they weren't cut out for the sport, but not Jordan. He used that moment as motivation to practice harder, train more intensely, and eventually become a legend in the sport. He didn't see failure as a reason to quit. He saw it as a reason to get better. Or look at J.K. Rowling, the author of the beloved Harry Potter series. Before she became one of the most successful authors in history, Rowling's manuscript was rejected by 12 different publishers. Instead of letting those rejections crush her dreams, She used each one as an opportunity to refine her story and keep pushing forward. It was her growth mindset that enabled her to persist in the face of repeated setbacks, ultimately leading to worldwide success. But here's the best part. You don't need to be a basketball star or a best-selling author to adopt a growth mindset. It's a mindset that anyone can develop, no matter who you are or what your goals may be. All it takes is a shift in how you approach challenges, failures, and opportunities for learning. Here are some steps you can follow to start cultivating a growth mindset. Embrace challenges instead of avoiding them. When you encounter obstacles, see them as opportunities to learn, not as roadblocks. Ask yourself, what can I gain from this experience? Rather than focusing on the fear of failure, learn from your mistakes. Instead of viewing mistakes as proof of inadequacy, see them as feedback. Every mistake contains valuable lessons if you're willing to look for them. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? And how can I improve? Put in the effort. Remember, effort is the path to mastery. Whether you're learning a new skill or striving toward a goal, effort is what bridges the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Accept criticism as a tool for growth. Instead of taking criticism personally or feeling defensive, see it as an opportunity to gain insight into areas where you can improve. Constructive feedback can be one of the most powerful resources for personal development. Be inspired by the success of others. Instead of feeling envious or discouraged when you see someone succeed, ask yourself, what can I learn from their journey? Success leaves clues, and observing how others achieve their goals can inspire you to keep pushing toward your own. And here's where it gets even more fascinating. Your brain isn't fixed in its abilities. It's incredibly plastic. We're not talking about plastic surgery here. We're talking about neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to change, adapt, and grow throughout your entire life. Every time you learn something new, you're literally creating new neural connections in your brain, reshaping how it functions. That means you're never too old, too late, or too stuck to change. Your brain's neuroplasticity means that each time you take on a new challenge, push through a setback, or learn from a mistake, you're rewiring your brain to become more resilient, capable, and intelligent. You have the power to strengthen your mind in the same way you can strengthen your muscles, through repeated effort, learning, and growth. So the next time you face a difficult situation, remind yourself, you're not stuck. You're not limited by your current abilities. You have the potential to grow, change, and become better. By adopting a growth mindset, you open yourself up to a world of possibilities and continuous improvement. The key lies not in avoiding failure, but in embracing it as part of the journey toward mastery and success. There's a simple yet profound truth in all of this. Control lies in how you respond to situations, not in the situations themselves. Life will throw challenges your way, some expected, others completely unforeseen. But how you choose to face those challenges is entirely within your control. Will you shrink away, convinced that failure defines you, or will you use it as fuel for growth? That's the essence of a growth mindset, seeing every experience as a chance to become stronger, wiser, and more capable. We've covered so much in this video, from the power of your thoughts to the incredible strength of a growth mindset. Each lesson reveals how deeply interconnected our minds and lives are. Whether it's understanding how our beliefs can heal us or exploring the profound emotional connections we share with others, these psychological insights offer the potential to transform the way we see ourselves and the world around us. So, what resonated with you the most? Was it the concept of the placebo effect, the impact of a growth mindset, or maybe something else? I'd love to hear what you've learned. Comment below and share one takeaway you're going to put into practice in your life. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We can't wait to continue this journey of learning and growth together.